Our guy, Ronnie Hirvonen, I feel for him. And unsurprisingly, here in 2023, it caused quite the stir. But he suffered a concussion during a scrimmage at Leafs development camp. Open ice hit delivered by Nolan Dillingham. What was your read on that?
I mean,
Here we go.
I'm actually not too partial to either side. I get both sides of it. On one hand, why are you hitting like that in a prospect camp with a guy who's like on your team, quote unquote? And on the other hand, which I lean towards more often, you can't start at the boards at the red line and just cut right to the middle of the offensive blue line that's being patrolled by the D man with your head completely up your ass and just be completely shocked when you get hit. If you look at the defenseman, the way he hit him, he didn't do anything crazy. He stepped up. The reason it was so violent, the reason it led to a concussion is because of the way he came with his head down, absolutely unprepared for any part of body contact in a full contact sport. And I'm not blaming him specifically. It's the way the game is played now. It's where these kids come from. It's what they think of and what they pay attention to growing up. And it's certainly not keeping their head up. You always used to hear that. Keep your head up, keep your head up. It was on you to keep your head up. There's guys trying to hit you out there. Now it's like, you can't hit him, you can't hit him, you can't hit him. Well, why not? The guy puts himself in a terrible position. If he didn't have his head up his ass cutting through the middle, he'd be fine. He would have had to stand up a body check. Maybe he gets clipped, whatever. But that is to me a time where everyone is trying to stand out. You got a whole camp full of prospects. You're trying to impress the big boys upstairs. A big hit, a beautiful stretch pass, a nice goal, a nice dish, a huge level of compete, protecting the puck, coming out of the corner with the puck. That stuff all makes the guys upstairs elbow each other. Hey, how about that kid? Hey, how about that kid? And you can't expect everyone to be like, oh, we're all friends here. They're all trying to play in the NHL. They are not teammates at that point in time. They are adversaries trying to take each other's job. And I don't buy into the fact that they shouldn't hit, they're on the same team. They are not on the same team yet. Their life's goal is to be on the same team, and they're going to try to get there any way they can.
I suppose playing the contrarian to this whole debate is something you do in development camp really going to put you over the top to go where you need to be or where you want to be and say that's the NHL. Like I just think it's crazy. Although I will say I tend to side with you, unfortunately, where it's like everybody's enraged. But look, it's 2023. Last time I checked, you want to play to the best of your abilities. Last time I checked, and I have to check on a daily basis. Physical contact is still part of the sport. Hirvonen's head was down. He should know better, by the way. He played professionally overseas. I mean, this guy knows what's cooking. He's played in the World Jays. Like, I think he was just caught with his head down, and sometimes that does happen in hockey. It's unfortunate he suffered a concussion, but again, playing the contrarian, I just really wonder whatever you do in this development camp, does it go a long way in deciding anything for your future? That's my wonder.
Well, again, I don't want to see a kid laid out like that ever. I don't
Yeah.
like it when guys are knocked out. You got these younger type of kids starting their career. We know more about head trauma than we did, say 20 years ago. And to see a kid just KO'd where his arms are all stiff, it's no good, man. I do not want that to happen. I would love to get that out of the game, but it's hit hockey. And if you put yourself in that vulnerable of a position, the chances of that go straight up. And it's not about the guy that hit him. To me, again, he's not out there head hunting, trying to kill everyone in prospect camp. A guy cuts to the middle. Yeah, you got the guy prospect camp, Brendan Shanahan's going to show up and take a peek one day, and then all the tempo goes right up. You can tell. These things happen, and guys are trying to do things to stand out, to make you say, "Oh, who's that kid? Who did he play for?" And that doesn't mean that's what that kid was trying to do. But again, watch the defenseman. What he did was not insanely wild and crazy. Why the hell would you do that? The reason it was such a big and dramatic and violent hit is from the puck carrier and the way he handled it and the way he had his head down that bad allowed that to be so violent. And again, if his head wasn't down like that, it wouldn't have been an issue that anyone's even talking about. But vulnerability, and these guys put themselves in. And I question the league that he played in over in Europe. I don't know what one that is. I doubt anyone fucking hits like that ever at all, especially these days. So he's probably not used to that. But damn, you got to tell these kids, hey, you can get crunched out here. So when you're carrying that puck and thinking about your next toe drag through the legs, you better make sure there's no one barreling down on you or you're going to get killed.
Having minimal context, yeah, like that was my read on the situation too. It was sort of a one-off. And again, last time I checked, there is body checking, there's physical contact in the sport, and the player, like nobody's going to let up, especially when you're trying to make a difference. And you've been in that position, as you referenced and mentioned, like you want to do anything possible to make a difference, right? And if that is, laying out one of the top prospects, because Hirvonen is widely perceived as one of the top prospects of this organization, that's how you send a message. I didn't think it was dirty. I didn't think it was ugly. I thought it was relatively clean. And I know there's a lot of unrest within the market just because of who the player was. Like if it was Joe Schmo, I don't think people would be talking about it, unfortunately.
No, and I mean that D-man didn't it wasn't his choice who was coming down there. It happens
Exactly.
quick. And I mean, I promise you he's sitting there going, "Geez, man, like why he got himself like in a bad spot there. Oh, that was Herman, god damn it." Like he's not trying to hurt a guy. Again, it wasn't the hitter's fault that all that happened. It's the hitties. And whoever doesn't really get that probably hasn't played at a high level, but when you get crunched like that, there's times where I've hit guys, especially back in like the 06, 07 era where you're running around just trying to kill guys. There's no such thing as a headshot. There's times where it happens quick. Guy cuts the middle. You're right in his lane. Here we go. Boom. And I think to myself, why did you do that? Like, I wasn't trying to kill you. I wasn't trying to headhunt. You kind of came right in at the worst spot. And what am I going to jump out of the way? See you later. Last day on that team, right? You hit the guy. You have to. It's hit hockey. And sometimes I'll hit a kid hard and I go, wow, why did you put yourself in that position? I wasn't trying to to put that big of a hit down. You just came right into it because you were clueless to the situation. And unfortunately, that happens too. Again, it's a concussion. He's going to be fine. He'll be back. Hopefully, learn a lesson. Wow, this is North American hockey, not the end of the world. Although, yeah, you would like guys to stop putting themselves in that position and stop being hit that way because it's no fun seeing a young kid on his back lost consciousness.